John looked at his poor wife as she writhed in pain on the hospital bed. The surgery was scheduled to be done in the next 2 hours, but to him, that seemed like an eternity. Time seemed to be moving in slow motion, and he felt as if nature was conspiring against his dear wife, Elizabeth. Beth, as he commonly called her, had been diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. She also had a malignant tumor on her pancreas, and hence the need for the surgery. Following a biopsy test that had been done earlier, the doctor's report indicated that Beth's cancer was a result of a plastic surgery and breast augmentation procedure that she had undergone from a not-so-qualified surgeon 2 years ago. Elizabeth and John had always had a happy marriage. John was a skilled carpenter, while Beth was a high school teacher. They didn't have much to their name, but their love for each other was a source of envy for many. Together, they had 3 children, who were all pursuing different careers in life. When Elizabeth retired, she became a housewife, and so most of the time, she could be seen helping her husband complete his carpentry projects. Business was slow, and so John was really struggling to stay afloat financially, but he couldn't tell his wife. He always hoped for the day when business would be booming again. A few months since their new life began, Elizabeth started noticing something strange with her husband. John would be gone for days, and when he came back, he would act a little secretive towards his wife, in that he wouldn't tell her where he was from. Concerned by his new weird habit, Beth decided to seek counsel from her best friend, Sheila. The 2 women had a lengthy conversation, and they both came to the same conclusion: John was having an affair with another woman. This newfound discovery really troubled Elizabeth's mind. She started blaming herself for her misfortunes. She said to herself, "Maybe John has lost interest in me because I look old. My face is no longer smooth, and my husband doesn't see the beauty in me anymore. I must do something about it, or else I will lose my lovely husband. I must make my husband dump that other woman for me." And without further delay, Elizabeth started searching on the internet for the cheapest plastic surgeon around. And as is the nature of Google, Elizabeth found what she was looking for. "I'm gonna look young again, and maybe my husband will love me harder than before," said Elizabeth to herself as she booked for a session with the plastic surgeon. John would not be home for another 2 weeks, and so Elizabeth used the available time to visit the plastic surgeon for a facelift and breast augmentation procedure. The procedure was successful, and Elizabeth returned home looking a little younger and more satisfied with herself. She admired herself as she stood in front of her bedroom mirror, as thoughts crossed her mind of how her husband would fall in love with her again once he saw her. That night, she even called her husband, and he promised her that he would be home early the next day. True to his words, John came home the next day, and he was so excited to see his wife. He noticed the surgical procedures that his wife had undergone, and in him, just the mere thought that his wife had undergone a plastic surgery procedure just to look pretty for him melted his heart. From that day onwards, John never went away from home again, and Elizabeth interpreted this to mean that indeed John was cheating on her, but she had finally snatched her husband back from the adulterous woman. Her investment had paid off handsomely, and the 2 lovebirds were now happy together. The doctors had told John that the surgery had a 50-50 chance of survival, and so John was left in a dilemma of whether to cancel it or take a leap of faith. Tears filled his eyes as he watched how cancer had turned Beth into a pale shadow of her former self. The hospital walls and the smell of the hospital were tormenting him, as they made him even more worried of if his wife would leave long enough to exit the building. As she lay on the hospital bed with tubes running through her nose and mouth, John held her hand and murmured a lengthy prayer to God. "Please, God, don't take away my wife. I know I haven't been a church guy, and I know it's been long since I talked to you, but please God, if not for anything good that I have ever done, please heal my wife because she is a good and lovely woman. Please don't let me be in a position that I will have to tell my kids that their mom died. I am at my lowest right now. Please don't let me sink further than this. I count not on my merit, but on thy grace. Please, God, heal her for me. Miraculously, Elizabeth opened her eyes for the first time in 2 days and she smiled at John. In a feeble voice, she told him, "Honey, you know I've always loved you. You've been an awesome husband to me, and I'm sorry 'cause I feel like my time to die has come. I don't think I will make it out alive after the surgery. Please take care of our kids, and I want you to know that from the depth of my heart, I forgive you for cheating on me. Had you not cheated on me, that wouldn't have lowered my self-esteem, and so I wouldn't have gone for the plastic surgery. My health would be perfectly normal right now, but baby, I forgive you." With a puzzled face and a teary voice, John told Elizabeth, "Honey, I am sorry for making you think I ever cheated on you. I have always been faithful to you, and there is no particular moment that I have ever betrayed our love. Back then, I didn't fail to come home for cheating reasons. The truth is, business wasn't doing well at all, and so I decided to try my luck in gambling. I lost so much money in one sitting, and that's why I was so ashamed of even facing you. I thought you would judge me harshly for what I had done, and that's the reason I wouldn't come home. When I finally came home and found that you had done the plastic surgery, I knew your spirits were low, and so I didn't want to crush them further by not embracing your new look. Honey, young or old, I love you all the same." Before John could continue, the door opened and the nurses took Elizabeth away to the surgical theater.